Okay, you can start.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Georgios. This is my colleague Abbas. Today we are going to talk to you about post-exploitation using Meterpreter. For the purpose of our demonstration, we've used three different security tools by mainly focusing on the last one, Meterpreter. The first one is Metasploit framework. It's a very powerful penetration tool that includes lots of exploits, modules, payloads, encoders, handlers, everything that is needed for a very handy penetration test. Now, the second one is Nmap. It's a very well-known security auditing tool. It's mainly used as a port scanner. And finally, we have Meterpreter, which is the short form of Meta-interpreter. It belongs to Metasploit framework, and it's used as a multi-function payload after exploitation. In simple means, it allows us to have full remote control of a victim's system or our target. We thought it's worth mentioning some keywords. Some of you may know, some of them it's not so clear, because we're going to mention them through our presentation many times. The first one is exploit, which is a piece of software that can take advantage of vulnerability, whereas vulnerability itself is a weakness in the system that allows an attacker to take advantage of. And finally, we have payload. Okay, we heard this and before in our lecture, which is a piece of code that runs in a target system remotely, which is very important when it comes to Meterpreter. This is exactly what we need for. Now, how it works. Don't be scared about how bad this slide works. I'm not going to go into any technical details because we are less interested of how Meterpreter works and more interested of what it does. Well, I'm just going to say that we have 5 steps before we can use Meterpreter. The first one is applying the exploit in the first stage of payload, such as the reverse TCP binding that we are going to use to the victim machine. The victim machines connect back to our attacker's machine, the host machine. In step 3, the Meterpreter sends the second stage payload to the victim machine through DLL injection, and the technique is called reflective DLL. And this is a technique that payload is injected into a compromised host running into the memory. Then the Meterpreter core initializes, establishing a TLS secure for version 1 link over the socket. And finally, in step 5, a client-server communication is established through the TLS channel using a TLV protocol. Now I'm going to hand you over to my colleague Abbas to give you some more details about the TLS protocol and the advantages of Meterpreter.
What the advantages of Meterpreter? First of all, it's stealthy, it's undetectable, because Meterpreter works totally in the memory and doesn't write anything to the disk. It also doesn't create any new process. It binds or injects itself into already running process. And by default, it uses encrypted communications with the victim machine. It's very powerful because it uses channelized communications, and it uses the TLV protocol for client-server communications, which has very few limitations. It's extensible, and so that the features can be run in real time and added over the network, and you can add new features of your own to the Meterpreter by using the Ruby language and not rebuilding the application all over again. So what are we going to do today is we have 2 virtual machines. One of them is the backtrack, which is the attacker machine, and the other is Windows XP. So we will start from network mapping. So we will scan for the network and then exploit the vulnerability and show you some examples of the Meterpreter. So let's start backtrack. I think we are already all familiar with backtrack and the command line. settings of the machines are. Okay, so the first comment is we are scanning the network. We are not scanning the whole network as we know the exact IP address that we are going to connect to, and the -O gives us the operating system of the victim. Okay, it still didn't run.
Yeah, because we didn't connect. Sorry about that. Yeah, we forgot to connect to the internet. Sorry about that.
Not the internet.
Not
the internet. Okay. Here the scan starts. It takes a little bit of time. Okay, gives us some details about the victim machine, and now we are checking for vulnerabilities in the victim machine. We are checking for vulnerabilities on the port 445. It's a script for Nmap. Okay, Nmap is not the best tool to scan for vulnerabilities. You can use instead of it Nessus, for example. It's a very powerful tool.
We're going to check for a specific vulnerability that we know Windows XP has. This is the MS08.
XP SB2.
Yeah, this is XP2. Because it was patched next in the next with XP.
Okay,
so
we were attacking this vulnerability, MS08, 067.
And
so now we are starting the Metasploit console. The first comment that, okay, we will be using an exploit to attack the vulnerability that we were saying about. It's found in the SMB library 08 underscore 067. Okay, and then we will set the remote host, which is options.
Yeah. We already know that our remote host as the port is 445, and we're going to set the local host and the remote host.
Okay, so we set the remote host, which is the IP address for the victim machine. And then our IP address. Okay, and now
we're going to set the payload.
The payload that we are going to use, we will be using the reverse TCP payload.
And finally, we're going to exploit.
Okay,
let's see
exploit
if it works.
Okay, now we exploited the victim machine. Okay, the first command was to be the shell command, but our colleagues before us has already shown it.
Yeah.
So we'll skip this one.
Now we already created a session, and we can do anything we want to our victims' IPC without even knowing. That's the very good advantage of Meterpreter, being stealthy. Now, for example, like
Okay. we will see now the process ID that we are working under it. We
Yeah.
are injected it. We are in the process ID 132, and we are in the user ID authority system.
You can see systems info. So we can see that we are using Windows XP and we have service pack number 2.
So
Now we are going to list the
we list the processes that are running already in the system because we can migrate ourselves to another process ID if you prefer this.
okay, to migrate.
Okay, and now we migrate to another. Have you attached the webcam?
No.
Okay, no webcam.
No, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. They have a problem with the drivers.
Driver because
I'm
it's
using
Windows 7 and
I know it's Windows 8.1 and this is XP.
Okay.
Now, for example, we have action, we can upload and download everything from our system's hard drive. Now, for example, if we've created a virus file or anything you want to upload,
And you can upload it to the other system.
we have already fixed the text.txt with our usernames and passwords, and I'm going to take this file from my
Backtrack to
backtrack
the
desktop
XP
to the XP. I'm going to show you.
to the C.
Yeah.
Okay, we are just showing you how to upload. The download is this very same, just download and reverse things.
Now if I go my system here, open my local disk, we will see the file, and with our everything that the victim can have, we can do both sides. For example, if he had already created a file with his username's password, everything, any list, anything he ordered, detail, anything, we can download it and keep it to our.
It's good to mention that there is a script, it's called Scrapper, that can take everything from the victim machine. You can run this script and take every sharing information, network things, passwords, usernames, and everything can be downloaded. So now, run kill antivirus will attack the victim machine and kill the process of the antivirus, so that the victim will be without an antivirus. Now we don't have an antivirus on the victim machine, so I think it will not do anything. Next thing that we want to do is to impersonate a user ID in the other victim machine, but in order to do this, we must use an extension, which is incognito. This tokens. Okay. These are the options that we have.
Yeah, we can pretend to be any of these. For
So
example, I will choose the
We will impersonate the administrator. Yes, we've already done. Almost. Impersonate underscore token. Okay, so now we can get UID. Now, okay, we are using this.
Now can drop this token because we want to change and be someone else. We also wanted to show you something about webcam. The command is a webcam snap. It takes a picture of our victims with our victim's camera.
Right.
Yeah, because my drivers doesn't work in Windows XP. We did it.
Sometimes,
We did it. It worked.
sometimes it worked and sometimes
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Okay, try it. No, don't, oh, this is just the snap.
Yeah, this is. And we also managed to do live streaming from our but
Oh,
now
from the
that
victim.
the camera doesn't work, we can't show it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that you were not able to show this.
I know,
Are you
I know.
done?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one more thing that we want to mention. There is a command which is a script ramp resistant. It's a very important one that because
Persistence.
resistance.
Okay.
Yes, it create a backdoor to the victim.
Mm.
So even if the victim restarted the PC or did whatever he done, every couple of times or a time, it will connect back to our machine. Let's try RAM VNC.
Oh, yeah.
RAM
That's
VNC, which gives
one.
us
Take
the
full remote control.
full remote control. Okay.
Let it open.
It will take a little bit of time, and it will be the last thing.
Your time has run out.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and,
Okay.
And now I can.
And now, okay,
I can.
we are.
exactly. Okay.
See.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Any questions? No questions? I will start by your last script you mentioned at the end. How does persistence work?
Okay, before you exploit the victim, you will put the command run resistance with some options. For example, the time, how much time.
How does it work? What does it do in the system in order to be started each time the system runs?
It uses the reverse TCP, so it's just ask the victim system to every couple of minutes to
Because the
connect
thing
back.
is, Meterpreter, as you said, doesn't modify anything on the hard drive, runs in memory.
Yes.
So this persistence doesn't work that way. To write
Well-
something to the machine, because if you wanted to start each time the system restarts,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to write something on the disk.
Yes.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah, that's the point of the script, setting the payload. I mean, it keeps throwing the Meterpreter session. First time it is used. For example, that's why we're using the reverse TCP, because I know that firewall, for example, doesn't allow incoming connection to the system, but does not deny outgoing connection. So every time the system restarts, or I don't know, comes after reboots or something, then it keeps sending the payload from the systems to the attacker.
You mentioned, by the way, the token thing, incognito.
Yes.
It's just like switch user, yeah? Same
Yeah.
effect, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so privilege, it's about privilege
For example-
escalation, yeah?
Yeah, for example, we can have many users installed in our system, so we can pretend to be any of them.
Yeah,
But
it's-
not
it's-
all of them have the same privileges, so if we
Yeah.
want to be an administrator, we have to pretend to be
Okay.
an administrator.
So we are not just using the privileges, we are using his own username.
Identity.
Yes, his own
Yeah.
identity.
Okay. And how does the migration work? When you migrate into a process, how does it work?
Well, exactly, we don't know exactly, I mean, by coding, because we're not the software developers, but even the first time that the Meterpreter session is established, and it goes and stands on
Injects
process,
itself.
injects itself on the process ID, then the same way, I believe it happens when I told it to...
What's that way?
Well,
Which is what? The same way.
I don't know.
Using
You did mention DLL injection in your
Yes,
Yeah,
slide.
DLL.
yeah, but it's not reflective DLL injection we've mentioned. It may be DLL injection because it's the only way, the only technique that Meterpreter uses.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any other questions? No? No questions for me? No? Okay. Thank you very much.